Onto this story now. The South African Human Rights Commission will say today whether EFF leader Julius Malema and other members of his party are guilty of hate speech. The complaints against the EFF members include Malema's call back in November of 2016 for all land in South Africa to be returned to black people. He also said the party was not calling for the slaughter of white people, quote unquote, at least for now. Well, our reporter Tshegohaco Moagi is at the Human Rights Commission headquarters. That's in Braamfontein with more on this story. Tshegohaco, good morning to you. Talk to us then what these what this report of the consolidated statements that have been made by the EFF leader and some of his party leaders are about. Just give us a few of these statements that have been made.
Well, good morning, Xoli. We do know, as you mentioned, that one of the main things will definitely be about his comments around white people and the land, especially what he said that they will not be slaughtering white people, well, just not for now. That is one of the major complaints that was, of course, brought by various people to the South African Human Rights Commission to be investigated against the EFF leader, Julius Malema. But when I did speak to the South African Human Rights Commission, Xoli, they did also mention to me that some of the reports, some of the complaints, rather, that they'll be releasing today also goes way back to about maybe 2017 or so, 2018. So these are actually utterances that we do know the EFF leader to have said, things about Indians as well, where he lambasted Indians, saying that they are worse than Afrikaners, where he also spoke, as I mentioned, about the whites and the land. He said quite a few things actually about white people and when them bringing back the land to black South Africans. So this report, Xoli, we are expecting to be quite lengthy, and we're expecting it to just give us an overall understanding as to what the complaints were and also the findings that the Human Rights Commission has come up with.
Just finally then, Tseho, the Human Rights Commission, as we all know, is a Chapter 9 institution in the country. Once it brings out that report, what does it do with the report, or what happens in as far as its recommendations are concerned? Does it order for people to be, arrested or further investigated? What actually happens?
Well, Xoli, that is one of the things definitely that we'll then be finding out from the South African Human Rights Commission today about the recommendations that they do make, what then should be the next step. I do understand that the South African Human Rights Commission did say in a statement that they are urging political parties and political leaders not to be making certain utterances, especially as we head out to the May elections, to the May 8 elections. So the recommendations, we'll just find out today, Xoli, what exactly happens with those particular recommendations, what then is the way forward when this kind of report has been released, and what then happens to people like the EFF leader Julius Malema and members of the EFF as well. If they are, what will then happen and how this will perhaps affect the May 8 elections or just affect the EFF going forward into those elections.
Right, thank you very much for that update live for us at the headquarters of the South African Human Rights Commission here.